Okay, today is Saturday, August 1st, 2015, and we're looking at the rainbow color infrared loop for the tropical Pacific, wide shot, and Hurricane Guillermo is still spinning, 105-mile-per-hour winds, and we can get a little more detail on that. The National Hurricane Center has revamped their website for the Central Pacific, so they're changing things a little bit on their website. See if we can find the pressure on that storm. Yeah, they're not really saying much about the pressure. Okay, well, anyhow, we'll go back here and look at the this is the the water vapor loop, and we can see some white flashes taking place in the middle of that storm, right in the core, and that is generating some heat. And we're looking at the splatter pattern of all that explosive hot air moving out from the center of this core at a very high velocity, and that's what's causing all of this. Looks like a splash pattern that's it's all right around the edge of that storm. Okay. Meanwhile, this little storm here is being hit by something. We can take a look at this on the visible light mode and see a ring around the edge of this expanding. This whole area has been set up with a high pressure over Hawaii to protect the islands from all this wild weather going on. Okay, this storm's being hit. This is being blasted. Meanwhile, a transmitter has built out a long channel here, actually on both sides of California, and we'll take a better look at this here in a minute. The storms that were moving up from the monsoonal moisture flow have been divided by this high pressure. This is a radar causing this here, a very highly directional radar, phased array probably, cutting a channel right through the weather here. And there's another doing the same thing right over here. Okay, now this storm here, big thunderstorm, that's being blown apart. We'll get to see that here in a second. Just another storm that would bring some rain to the southwest. That's being blown apart. Okay, let's go ahead and this is the visible light mode, and we can see that system right over, or rather right south of Hawaii. There was a HAARP ring right up in here. We can't see it too well, but we can see this system right here. There are a lot of rings exiting this storm, HAARP rings, very high pressure waves that were generated by superheated air being forced down on top of this system by a transmitter. And we can see that going on right there. We can go back again and look at the color infrared loop. There's some white flashes. They're just very, very tiny, about a pixel wide on this little monitor here. But they're scattered all throughout the center of this. And in the back in the visible light mode, when you look here closely, you can see the contour of where this thing is being hit. And those might be the white flashes we're seeing. At any rate, right after those white flashes, we see a lot of rings start to move out at a high velocity from the center of this storm. Guillermo, Hurricane Guillermo. This is a Category 2 storm moving towards Hawaii. And okay, so let's go ahead and move on here. This is the Northeast Pacific water vapor loop. And here we can see what's happened. A transmitter, a radar, has built a nice little channel in here to keep this spinning low pressure from delivering any rain to California. So they've got a blockade here, and we'll see how effective that turns out to be. But this spinning low has a lot of moisture in it, and it could potentially bring some rain to California, the coastal area of California, but that may not happen. We'll keep a close eye on this. It looks like it is collapsing. Meanwhile, this area right here is being built out with a radar, and that is serving to direct all this monsoonal moisture around this spinning low, which has been installed and parked over Texas for about the last 5 days. Okay, so that low has been parked. It's a HAARP transmitter just sitting there, aimed right at Texas, and that's going to move all this weather out to the east. Okay, and here we have another spinning low up here. This is being targeted by a transmitter right here. This hot air will be sucked into the core and eventually weaken this down to where it's not a threat to anything. And what else do we have going on here? Of course, we have this big high that was built in over Hawaii to protect it, and we'll keep an eye on that. Spinning high pressure here, clockwise movement. Okay, let's go on here to the rainbow loop. And that hurricane right there, that's going to go right towards Hawaii. Now, if they're going to blow this thing apart, it's going to have to happen here in the next day or two. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, what else? Okay, here is the southwest water vapor loop. And we can see that big storm right there getting blown apart. You can see the shock waves moving out from all sides. So here's another situation where they are manipulating the weather. This would normally bring rain into the Arizona area and fill up some dams and rivers. And they're not allowing that to happen. The people running these transmitters are preventing rain. And let's go ahead and look at this in the rainbow loop. You see that storm being squashed, losing its intensity. It goes from a dark red to a yellow. And we can see the shock waves moving out radially from the center of that. Let's go ahead and look at this in the daylight mode. Okay, see some shock waves right here. Blast wave going right out of the bottom of that. Look at that. Right out of the very bottom. Fast, high velocity shock wave right there. Okay, so they're manipulating the weather, killing off these storms. All right. And of course, we looked at the hurricane map. This is forecast to pass right over the northern side of these islands here. So we'll keep a close eye on this, and we'll do another one probably tomorrow morning. Okay. Today, the barometric pressure in Los Angeles was down just a trifle from 30.06 yesterday to 30.03 today. That's probably due to there's a low offshore here spinning. Well, let's go back to that map again. Let's go back there. Here we go. Yeah, right offshore here, about maybe 800 or 900 miles. Anyhow, that's affecting the barometric pressure in the area. Okay, so that's it. We'll do another one tomorrow.